This ain't no game, this that CSC game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. I'm on the show, spread fake news. We just call it podcast. West Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he was a small fry. Tell him they better make him big. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You bet. Here he goes. This place is gone.
If we said it instead of this song, sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are...
The emotional journey to the championship.
What is up, everybody? We are coming to you live from the historic Freedom Hall. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wahman. Here with me today, he is the Louisville football beat writer, the Louisville women's basketball beat writer, and if I have my say, the Louisville men's basketball beat writer for this upcoming season. It's the man, Sam Baisden.
What up, what up?
Next to him, as we welcome in our guest right on time, he is the big little brother, Joe Wahman. Why is your mic not working?
Is it me today?
No.
Check.
Oh, I
There
had
we
the
go.
wrong one. Had the wrong one turned down. I should have just left yours off. Don't forget the Mossy Oak chat line is open if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however. Send us your questions on social. Check on the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on social media. Hit that thumbs up while you're here on YouTube. Make sure you're watching on YouTube. It helps us out more with sponsors and stuff. Speaking of sponsors, shout out to Fitness Market, Four Pegs, Collision Course, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and our summer sponsors, Beckman's Fine Blades, and our new sponsor starting with us in August, Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. Very excited to have Josh hop on with us. Question of the day, and then we'll get to our guest because we know his time is important. We want you all to, we were talking about this before the show. We've had the privilege and honor of having many former Louisville greats on this TBT team, but there's still a couple of elusive guys that we haven't got to come back just yet or haven't talked into it. We want y'all to give us about 3-4 names, shoot it in the chat line. We'd love to hear your response about that. We will read out at the end of the show. I've got several that I'm including one and I hope nobody else gets. Also want to give a good shout out and congratulations to our little brother, Nolan Smith, for getting his first D1 head coaching job. Wonder if we can get Tennessee State on the schedule here. I might know somebody who might be able to let us know, but not now, but in the future. But speaking of, let's get to our guest. He was a 5-star guard from Franklin High School in Seattle, Washington. Maybe not a consensus 5-star, but we don't care about that there. If you hit one of the three, we're good with that. He was the state champion, the title MVP, the AP Washington Player of the Year, Mr. Basketball, McDonald's All-American, came to Louisville as a freshman and made every fan get a glimpse of the future. He got to learn from guys like Edgar Sosa, Jerry Smith, Preston Knowles, and current superstar trainer Chris Brickley, among others. I'm not really sure Chris was training back then, but still. His leadership, talent, and ability to block shots, and definitely not foul Michigan players, was key as he helped lead the Cards to the NCAA National Championship in 2013. We were there. We saw it. Then followed that up by being selected as an NBA draft pick, and he had a great career overseas. He is currently the Director of Player Development and Basketball Alumni Relations, and a guy that's been really good to your boy here over the last 12 years since I met him. He was number 3 in your program, but number 1 in your hearts. He is Peyton Siva.
I don't know if you can hear that through there, but it sounds
Was that good?
some rumblings.
Okay. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Appreciate you joining us this morning and letting us come do the show here, man. This is an honor. We really do appreciate it, man. Well, let's get right into it. Again, we know you got stuff to do today. We got a game tonight, a big game tonight. I got to attend a few practices this week, and it was so good seeing the guys that I knew, like Earl and Trez again. Earl, I hadn't seen in a long, long time. So I was basically the glorified babysitter for this basketball team when Earl and DC were here. So I take credit for Earl. I do not take credit for DC. Off the rails, but it is what it is. The presser, we had some news come out of the presser. Ray Spalding looks like he is out for TBT because, as Coach Luke said, the speed of the tournament, there's just no way to be like, oh, yeah, he'll be back in 2 to 3 games. Well, what if you're not playing? You hope you're playing in 2 to 3 games. You just don't know. Trez was as electric in the press conference as he was. We'll leave it at that, as he was during the game. It was amazing. A guy like Trez, though, you've been around him a lot, Peyton. He is a very passionate and emotional guy, but 99% of the time he's right. He may not convey it the right way, but he's right with what he's saying.
Yeah.
Is that a fair guess?
Yeah, Trez is awesome, man. Very passionate. He's going to speak his mind, but he's always coming from a good place.
Absolutely.
Coming from a place to where he's trying to hurt somebody or trying to down somebody. He's coming from a place of love. And, similar to what you think of as a player, when a coach is talking to you, Trez is kind of the same way, right? It's not the tone of the message, it's what he's actually saying to you. And, over the years, I've learned to, talk to many different people, but playing with Trez, talking to Trez in the offseason, things of that nature, always know that he's coming from a good place and he's coming from love. It's not nothing vindictive or he's trying to put somebody down.
Right.
That's just his energy. That's just how he is. That's how he was raised. And he's a great dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say he's got here's how I like to when people ask me about Trez. You know how like when you text people and people can take the text the wrong way, but you meant it the right way? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what, to me, Trez encompasses because, again.
Trez text is in all caps.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Love that guy. Let's talk a little bit about the game yesterday. The refs seemed like they wanted to foul Earl Clark out. Foul number 4 was a phantom foul. Didn't even come close to touching him. And on foul number 5, Chris Dow fouled the crap out of the guy, and the ref turned around and said number 5 fouled him. They're not really sure. The refs just did it. Maybe Earl Clark gave them 30 in college, and we just don't remember. Earl is 36 years old, which is not old in real life, but ancient in basketball time, so I hear. The Ville wins 91-71 after another Chris Jones Elam ender. That's just what he does. He's the Elam ender, Chris Jones. Trez starts his Trez show. Trez started really slow, but turned into a monster in the second half. He started the Trez party. I think he had at the half 8 points, ended up with 25 points, 12 boards, 700 dunks, a DX crotch chop, a migraine picture, an airplane celebration in the victory.
10 of 15 from the free throw line.
Yeah, he was really good from the free throw line as he normally is. The crowd started a We Want Siva chat in the second quarter and fourth quarter, but to no avail. What did you like about the performance yesterday? What were some things you did like and some things you didn't like?
Well, speaking on the Siva chants, I appreciate all the love and all the support from all the fans. I really appreciate it. But I had tweaked my hamstring the other week in practice, so just trying to recover from that. And
sure.
Didn't want to, go out there and have something else happen to where it hindered me further into the tournament.
Gotcha.
I want to continue to stay fresh and continue to stay ready, but we have plenty of options to go out there and handle business as we saw yesterday with the additions of Dave Sloan, Chris Dow, you have Rush, Chris Jones. So I'm
Jay Scrub too, man.
Scrub, David Johnson, all those guys. So I'm perfectly fine with just being on the bench and cheering our guys on, helping being that player coach right now. And if I'm called upon later on in the tournament, hopefully by God willing, we continue to win and then be ready for later rounds and awesome. But for the performance yesterday, I thought Luke did an amazing job of coaching these guys up, right? You're dealing with a lot of personalities, a lot of guys who play, different style of basketball. And for us to come out there, compete the way that we did against a pretty good team, right? A lot of those guys are fresh out of college, who I actually got to coach against last year, Jaden Zachary, and then Colson, who's played at Providence, Big East. So good players, good talent. But for our guys to come out there and compete like that, it was awesome. Joked around with Earl, just telling him stop fouling all the time.
We did see that. Our guy, Jeff Nunn, tremendous picture he took, but he got
awesome.
that. He sent me the picture and he said, Jeremy, you need to get you somebody that loves you as much as Peyton Siva loves Earl Clark.
Man,
which, by the way, I do have. She's my wife, 25 years. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Devastated that I'm not able to step out on the court with him right now just because, man, the guy's such a tremendous talent. One of the most professional players I've been around, right? Just level-headed, cool, just about hoop. When you talk about hoop dudes, I mean, that guy just loves hoop. Rather it could be open gym, it can be out in TBT, it can be big three. He just loves hoop. So great from that. I thought Chris Jones did a phenomenal job of picking the ball up 94 feet, just bringing the energy, bringing the passion. You know, that guy, Mr. Elam Ender, and he carried our team yesterday. And then obviously you have David Johnson, Scrub, and then Montrez, who had a phenomenal performance also. Just a lot of energy, got going, you know, got to the free throw line, knocked down his free throws late in the game, got fouled, put pressure on the rim, and just the theatrics, right? Montrez is a guy who feeds off energy. He's a guy who is going to bring life to the crowd, and we needed every bit of it. If you would have heard the beginning of the game, it was kind of silent.
Mm-hmm.
People were trying to figure out what's going on. Once he got going, our team got going, and you know, he's a heartbeat for any team that he's on. And you know, it was great for us to see that performance from him, and I'm just glad that he's healthy. You know, he's showing that he's had a full year of recovery from his injury. He's played pro this year in Australia, played over in China, played everywhere, and he looks good out there.
Oh, and what dedication that him and Earl are showing. They both have games today in the Big Three, and they are both going to be back, according to Coach Hancock. Coach Hancock also said last night, he started off the press conference, well, I'm not going to tear into the TBT, but there were other teams that had an easier first-round draw. There were actually 2 teams that had first-round buys that I noticed last night when looking at the bracket, which I don't understand that. We're the number 1 seed. Maybe we should have got the
61. There's only 61 teams.
So maybe there were more than just 2. I saw 2 against the 1 seeds. But back to Earl, you want to talk about him being professional, man. That's one of the things I did love when I was around the team. 3 years I was around him in DC, and that group of guys, Sos, Jerry. I mean, just some of the best people. But there would be times, because I went back to U of L during that time to finish my degree up. I had got injured in college and dropped out of college, so I just needed like a year left. So I went back, went to school. I was there with those guys, and I would be, shout out to our guys, Terrence Farley and Perrin Johnson. Their dorm room was right next to Earl and DC's, and I would get on with my class, and they all left their doors open. They just, you know, that's just how they were. That's how close of a team they were. So I'd be sitting in the room waiting for T and Perrin to come back, and Earl would walk by the door and he'd be like, hey, man, what's up, y'all? Yo, come hoop with me. I need a rebound guy. Come hoop with me. Just like every time. And just a great dude. Even the way he handled things when he was about to go pro one of the years that he did not. And he had a couple of just didn't say nothing to nobody. Just was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Houston. Like, I'm gonna do the voice, because we all remember his senior day speech. Probably one of the most iconic senior day speeches, where he's like, hey man, shout out to all my guys, Frehina, I love you, Frehina, you the man, Frehina. And shout out to my guy, little Stabby, free Stabby. And it was something like that. It may not have been Stabby, but it was something like that. It was amazing. We loved it, but just cannot talk enough about how great of a guy. Thank goodness we got Earl to be able to come back and play for this team. 7 p.m. tonight, Ticketmaster. Get your tickets. We all know. So me as a basketball guy, I saw no defense being played hardly from the perimeter all game. You're not going to get that a whole lot of times, because one, these guys are professional. They don't play pro defense in the pros. They did have a couple guys on the other team, which I think is why the crowd was quiet, because they were hitting wide open threes to start the game. They had a lead for a little bit. But with that being said, was there anything, because I don't count that against our guys. Was there anything you saw that you didn't like that we need to work on if we're going to beat this team? Which for some reason we only play teams with cancer in their name. And we're very proud to beat cancer, especially since Dad beat it 3 times before finally, succumbing to it. But was there anything you didn't like about yesterday's performance?
You know, it's funny that you say that about defense, just because of the fact that, and it's no offense to you, but when guys are watching it, they might not think players are playing defense. But I guarantee you, if you were out there and you were bringing the ball up 94 feet against Chris Jones, you would have a different opinion.
Fair enough.
And, and now with anything, right, just like in the NBA, on the outside saying in, it's like, oh, they don't play defense until you go out there.
That's fair.
You're being guarded by Drew Holiday or Derek White, or one of those guys, Lou Dort. Like, those pros are playing defense. This offense is a lot better.
Okay.
And they're making tough shots. But I would say that if I was to fix anything, it would be just the falling asleep on the backside, right? On ball pressure, I thought we did a phenomenal job. I thought we did a great job. But it was just the communication and transition. Getting back on defense I guess that's what you're alluding to, is getting back on defense and, guys matching up is where they got a lot of open shots against us. Sprinting back on defense, talking, communicating, and those are things that for college or pro you can really work on, getting back, talking, communicating. But for a TBT, it's a lot harder to kind of get guys. I mean, it's great basketball. It's a great brand of basketball, but at the end of the day, it kind of feels like a glorified pickup game at some points in the game.
That's fair.
Right. It just, the flow of it, guys are tired. Guys are just getting up and down at some points, but there's some high level basketball that gets played out there. I mean, you saw Jay Scrub make a tremendous recovery and block the shot out of bounds. Yeah. You saw Montrez coming weak side and blocking the dunk attempt. There's defense being played out there now. Are there lapses? Of course. I mean, just with any game of basketball. And I think for us to continue to win is we have to limit those lapses. We have to limit those. We talked about it earlier in a little staff meeting about the 2 minutes before the Elam ending, we're up 27 points, something like that. And they go on an 8-0 run before the 4-minute mark. And turnovers leading to fast break threes. Turnovers leading to fast break dunks. And when you're up by 20, especially in the TBT before that Elam inning, the other team has nothing to lose. So they're going to start firing threes, and their confidence, it's almost like shooting a shot at the end of the buzzer. You're shooting it with no pressure. And we found that out last year. It was just like when we're down or when other teams are down, they have nothing to lose. Now they're just going to keep firing up. And now that confidence gets them going. And we can't have those lapses to where we allow teams to gain that confidence going into the Elam ending. We saw a team 9-1 yesterday. We're down 20 points the whole game, down 10 going into the Elam ending, start making shots, ended up winning by 6.
Is that the team that Anton was on?
That's the team that played last.
Okay.
Last night. And that's just the way like the Elam ending is set up. So on the coaching side of things, you want to work on communicating in transition, picking up the ball, figuring out who you got early on in transition, and not falling asleep on the weak side, especially with guys like, the kid from Utah, Madsen, for them, the shooter, right? He's a hell of a shooter. That's what he does. We had him on the scouting report as that. You can't lose him in transition. You can't keep backing up. You have to have a high pickup point for him. And I feel like last night we let him get to a little rhythm at the beginning of the game. Then we took him out for the rest of the game. I think he only hit 2 at the beginning, and then he was didn't make another shot the rest of the game. But we can't have those early lapses, and I think that's a big thing that we have to focus on and learn moving on.
I want to clarify something. I said perimeter defense because we played really good interior defense yesterday. Trez and the guys made sure that if things were going up, they were coming right back down. And I still got to give another shout out to our guy Chris Jones. Not only is he Mr. Elam Ender, I saw him dive for multiple basketballs on the ground yesterday, and that's not something that most people do in a TBT. Like that, I think I'm kind of glad.
I even question. I'm like, oh man, like in a game like this, why dive? But I get it, competitive.
Sets the tone.
Yeah, I think that him being left off this team the first year. Now, wasn't he on the team that ended up beating us in the opening round the first year?
He was on Jackson.
No, we beat them.
They lost, yeah.
We beat
So
them
who
first.
beat us at the buzzer? What team beat us at the buzzer a couple years ago?
That was Gutter Cats.
Okay, he wasn't on that team.
No.
Okay, told you, Sam.
Speaking of that, kind of like what you were saying a minute ago, we were up.
Yeah.
Going into Elam, and then we couldn't hit. We couldn't hit anything in that game.
That was my first trip from out of the hospital. We came and I
Only
drug
time I've
myself
been,
in.
and it's no offense to any of you guys or anything, but I'm very superstitious. That's the only game I've went to. We lost.
So you're not going
I'm
back.
more than happy to support everybody from my couch.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Fair
it.
enough. Fair enough. Tell us a little bit, Peyton, about the team we're playing today. 7 p.m. again, Ticketmaster. Get your tickets. It's a value, and you get to see these guys. Like, if you would have told me 5 years ago I could see Earl Clark, Jay Scrub, and David Johnson all on the same team, Malik Williams, just to name a few, it's Trey even, I'd be like, no way, we're not gonna get to see that. So this is not only for like, yeah, they're trying to win $1 million, but they're doing this for you all. They love. I mean, you saw Trez get riled up in the second half and go to the sideline, look up at the crowd, and say, "This is my city.
This is his city."
And he is one of many owners of the city.
Yes.
For lack of a better word. But tell us a little bit about the team that we're playing today, because who are their stars, and what are the keys to defeating them? Because they did give us we played them last year. It was either last year or the year before, and they were not an easy out.
No, not at all. And we only beat them. They had a wide open 3 at the end of the game to beat us.
Mhm.
It ended up missing from their best shooter, and we came down. Trez got fouled and knocked down the free throws. So this team that we played tonight, Sideline Cancer, is a really good team. They have a lot of guys from Louisville, Chris Coffey, Morrow, and Weaver, and they're a really well-coached team. We watched film on them. They have a lot of set plays, but they really are good on the glass. They pack everything in, so they don't try to give up easy layups or easy, dunks. They want you to shoot the 3. So think of it like a pack line defense of just what I always remember is Wichita State. And when we played against them, they're just going to pack the paint, not let everybody get in there. They'll give you all the 3s that you want, but you're not getting in that paint. So we really have to take care of it, not fall in love with the 3, but also to share the ball, get our feet in the paint, and then spray it out for those easy 3s. And, a guy like Chris Coffey, we have to keep him off the glass. They're a tremendous rebounding team. He's a tremendous offensive rebounder. Last year I think he had around like 5 or 6 offensive rebounds against us, just crashing from the perimeter, right? He's a guy that has a tremendous motor. For guys who remember, Louisville basketball, playing against like a guy like Kenneth Fareed, right, who's just has that tremendous motor, who flies around from every angle on the court, and is just relentless. We have to put a body on him, and then we just got to do a better job of just taking care of the ball. I think a big thing for us is limiting our turnovers that lead out to fast breaks. If we can do that, I think we have a really good shot tonight. Limiting them to second chance points. I think we have enough 3-point shooters out there that if we can continue to just get in the lane, share the ball, kick out, spray for open shots instead of challenge shots, I think we'll be really well.
The infamous Freedom Hall flies are here in full effect, you guys. Let's go to the chat line really, really quick. Again, 7 p.m., Freedom Hall, Ticketmaster. Get your tickets now. GM, Chrissy Banta in here. And listen, I know that it's very early. We normally do the show later in the day. So to have as many people in here watching right now, we appreciate it. And if each one of y'all have a ticket, Freedom Hall sold out tonight. So make sure you get there. But she said, wishes she was here. We wish you were too, Chris. We're going to have her on the show here soon. Fabian says, go Cards. What up, everybody? Andrew Mudd says, we love Peyton. Yeah, everybody does. It's what makes it kind of nauseating. Beast Mode says the champ is in the house. We'll get to your all's guys that you said you wanted to in a minute. Kevin Murphy says Shane in the corner on that one play was something. Absolutely.
That's my IT guy at work.
Oh, okay.
Kevin
Cool. What's up, Kevin? Announcer Lance McGarvey for the TBT and Little Basketball says, we want Siva, we want Siva, we want Siva. And Kevin,
I didn't hear him saying it on the
no, you should have done it. And he also told me he was going to shout me out, and he didn't. So I'm kind of aggravated at Lance for that. Not that I need a shout out. Like, one of the things, really quick, before I get off track. Well, I'm going to go off track, but I'll get back on. Coming to events like this are also special because you run into people you haven't seen 5, 10, 15 years. Saw a guy we grew up with, Birdie. You remember Birdie? You hang out with
Terrence
Roman?
Camp.
Yep. Ran into him yesterday. Ran into big Terrence Jennings doing his stuff for Spill in the Ville. Check that out. It's part of the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast Network. Big Nick. Everybody knows Big Nick. And I like to say, like, Big Nick is the new Jeremy because Jeremy was Big Nick before Big Nick ever was. There was just no social media back then. Kevin says he went home and watched some more TBT on YouTube. Great job on a long day, Lance. And Lance says thank you. So, all right, let's get back to what we're going to talk about next. We want to shout out, though, our sponsors again: Fitness Market, 4Pegs, Collision Course, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360. Which we have one of the owners of Shoot 360 right here. We appreciate him so much. Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, Zach from Beckman's Fine Blades, and Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. I don't want to go into a lot about Shoot 360 because it's supposed to be about TBT, and we've already asked you about this before, but I do want to reiterate this for people that may not have seen the other one. Why was it important for you to open up Shoot 360?
It was super important. I had just finished playing professionally and was just trying to figure out what's next on my career path. And I was around Louisville a lot and wanted to move back here. Was around the team a lot, and my wife, she brought it up. She was like, what about Shoot 360? We have saw it about 8 years ago in Seattle. Rodney Stuckey has a facility down there, and I always wanted to bring it up, to Louisville. I thought it would be a great opportunity, and I thought it would be something great for the community, and I love the idea of it. So found a facility, thanks to Ann and Eddie. It was at the old Braxton facility, and we just asked them, like, hey, would this be a place that we can put a Shoot 360 franchise? And she agreed to it, which is I'm very thankful. And my wife and I went to work. It was funny because as we were going through that whole process, I haven't seen Dean in a couple of years, and we always talk, but I just haven't seen him. He was assistant coaching D1, Southeast Louisiana, and then he had recently moved back too. And I was like, man, I'm getting ready to open this basketball facility. Would you want to be a part of it? And he was like, hell yeah, and it was funny because Dean was our manager when I was at U of L, and I always had a close relationship with him. And again, God's timing brought him. He had just moved back to Louisville with his wife, and I was like, man, well, I have this opportunity. Would you love to be it? And he loves being around basketball, so he's our general manager. Short story short, at Shoot 360, we opened it up, and it's been great. We have a lot of great members. I think the biggest thing for me, now that I'm coaching, I was able to kind of just sign it over to my wife and to him to run the facility. But the big thing for me is just being associated with it, walking around the city, walking around, Kentucky is just, I get so many parents that come up to me and just say, man, you don't know what your staff there are doing. My kid loves the place. They have so much fun there. And our facility is built on more so growing the game, having a safe place to play, and just finding that love for basketball, right? We're not a high level, I wouldn't say this, but we're not only for high level kids.
Sure.
We're for kids who just want to throw a ball at the hoop, that just love being around basketball, that's not going to go in there and feel judged, that they're not very talented. And
I appreciate y'all treating me like that when I was there shooting.
So the when parents see that, those parents and their kids, right? The kids are their most precious gift, and when they're allowing our coaches to, take over and teach them and help them and see them grow, not only for basketball, but for their confidence of just being around people and going to school the next day with their chest poked out, like they're just happy, having fun. And that's the biggest thing for me, man, is seeing those smiles on those kids' face, them coming up to me. And a lot of them kids didn't even realize I played basketball. And so it's funny when they do get a chance to see who I actually am, and they'll start talking basketball with me. But I just love seeing the fact that they're just enjoying the game. Their confidence is rising, not only on the court but off the court. They're coming up to me, talking to me, where they were just a shy kid when they first walked in, and now they shaking my hand and feeling comfortable. And that's just awesome. And I tell our coaches that all the time at Shoot 360, that you guys are making an impact in these kids' lives, and I think that's the main goal for us.
And you have great people up there. I ran into Scotty too while he was waiting in line at Will Call for his suite tickets. I don't know how you got those, but Scotty and Dean, two of the best people I've been around, and probably Blake as well. Like, they're all class acts, and then you got a plethora of cards. You probably could field your own TBT Shoot 360 team. You got so many former cards up there, and trust me, Tony Williams will still try to shoot it if you let him, which I never did let him in high school. Did you catch it? Because that fly is bothering all of
us. I didn't.
Crap.
I tried to Mr. Miyagi it.
So you touched on this a little bit. How important is it to get kids involved in sports? Because it not only teaches them things like confidence and life lessons, but, man, lifelong friendships. I mean, we met 13 years ago because of basketball. We're, you're still my friend. We're still, brothers in a way, even though I've never been on the basketball team. But, like, how important is that? Have you seen anyway? And again, you kind of touched on it, but to get these kids confident, to get them motivated, to get them thinking, and also to teach them, like, discipline. That's what sports teaches you that you don't really realize until you're much older, or a little older like me, is that there were so many things my coaches taught me I didn't get right then, but today, especially dealing with 3 teenage girls, which they're all driving and don't want nothing to do with Uncle Jeremy anymore. But they've taught me a lot of. They've not only taught me a lot of life lessons, but they have retaught and kind of brought up situations with my mom and dad that I may not have handled those situations the right way, and they're just getting back at me for that. But anything that I've left out, how important is it though for kids to get this kind of love and attention?
No, it's super important just because sports unites us all in a sense, right? Not only basketball, but other sports too teaches, camaraderie, teaches discipline, work ethic, all of those little things that you need later on in life. And that's why I said, the most important thing for me is seeing these kids walk out with a smile and confidence because it helps them not only on the court, but off the court. Whether they pick up another basketball in the future, whether they play high school varsity, whether they play in college D1 or NBA, hopefully, if they don't, they decide to go somewhere else. Sports just teaches them that confidence to be able to communicate things, right? When we're on the court, we're communicating, like I talked about earlier, on defense, learning how to communicate with your teammate, learning how to talk about getting back on defense. Hey, this is your rotation. Being quick-witted. All those things really help in the business world, right? And I learned that, and that's really what kind of pushed me into coaching was running my own business is really being able to communicate with your staff, being able to communicate X, Y, and Z, having a plan, all that. So all those lessons with sports I'm learning is really helps you in the business world, being a professional off the court, learning how to talk. We do a lot of like public speaking, doing interviews, right? You just gain that confidence and that familiarity with people, but also too is just great networking. You meet a lot of people, like you said, through basketball, right? I think basketball is a very small world. Like you said, me, I know Earl knows this person knows that person. You can always text one of us like, hey, I want to interview this guy, or hey, can I meet this person? It's just it's a small world in that sense that you never know who you're going to meet. Basketball can take you very far if you use it the correct way, and you can meet a lot of great people through that common knowledge. And that's a good goal for us at the facility for our coaches is just to continue to network with people, continue to build these kids up, continue to work on yourself, and I think that's what it's all about, helping other people out. All right. Like we have a couple coaches who moved back to Louisville and wanted to be part of the community, or, hey, I'm trying to figure out what's the next step in my life. Like, can I work there? And, I love the game of basketball. I want to be around it. Giving them that opportunity is always been huge for me because so many people have given back to me and helped me out through my career. So why not return a favor?
Absolutely. Corey on Facebook wants to know if you recruit coaches for Shoot 360 like coaches do for actual basketball teams.
We actually, when I was up there, and Dean does a great job of, figuring out who are some of the best talent around the city, but also too, we opened it to people who weren't coaching, right? I think some of the best coaches are teachers and people who are working in the school system, working with kids, especially that's what we do a lot at the facility is work with kids. And, at the beginning, we found some really great staff members, and we found some staff members that, moved on to different opportunities. So we don't seek people per se and say, hey, look, we want you to come work for us, or hey, we would love to have you at the facility. But if it works out to where, they're looking for a spot to train at, we have an opening because I think we have an amazing staff there. I think Dean's done a great job of really recruiting talent and having the right people up there to work with kids, because at the end of the day too, you're not just working with high level kids, right? You have to be able to teach a kid that can't dribble. You got to be able to teach a kid that doesn't know what hand they want to shoot with.
Like Sam over here. Can't dribble.
And you just want to make it a fun environment. And that's one thing I learned from Coach Kelsey working on his staff is just you have to have standards, and no one's bigger than, the team.
Right.
And also bringing energy, bringing that energy, having fun, enjoying what you're doing. Some of those lessons that I try to, talk to Dean about is what's helped me grow as a coach, but also as a person. And if I can instill those messages with him, he can continue to help those coaches.
Absolutely. We're going to have a little fun the rest of the way. We're getting to the last segment. Something we talked about before the game, something that I've been thinking about all week, and it hits me from time to time. What's the greatest number in Louisville history? And it got me to thinking, is it number 3 or is it number 5? Now, respectively, you represent the number 3. Earl represents number 5. But when you go back through history, man, just with 5, you got Marcus, you got Earl, you got Taekwon, you got
Alvin
Sims. You got a plethora of guys, Malik Williams. You got a lot of guys on that side. But for 3, you've got Rain Smith, Juan Palacios, Brian Kaiser, Tony Williams, guys like that. Who wins a game? You put you get 8 number 3s versus 8 number 5s. Who wins that game?
I'm always going to say 3.
I tried to set them up, didn't work. Freshman year, and you all in the comments, you all can leave your all's thoughts as well. Your freshman year, you all went 20-13. You won the title in 2013. Is that coincidence or just speaking your talents into existence on the court?
No, I had no idea about that.
That's kind of weird. I
record.
never even thought about that either.
I think he just pulled that stat out of nowhere.
Last night I did. I was doing my prep for the show today, and I looked. I was like, what was – because, again, I'm going to crap on Marcus whenever I can because he gave me so much crap in college. Marcus was like 64-64 all the time at Louisville, and the only guard to lead his team to 2 12-win seasons or less, 15 seasons. So he had 2 really good seasons, though. But I'm going to give him the short end of the stick as much as I can because he did that to me all through college. And payback. But, no, you all were 20-13. According to the site I looked at, you all were 20-13 your freshman year.
Okay.
You played in Freedom Hall. You played in Yum. Which one? Obviously, people are going to typically gravitate towards Yum because it was the new shiny toy when it first opened, and still to this day. But it was really considered like one of the top 5 arenas in the country, maybe even in the world. I don't remember what the stat was. But Freedom Hall, it has the mystique. I still smell all the same smells when I walk into here. The same fly. That's probably a 4th generation fly.
Cigarettes and regret.
Yeah. 4th generation fly that's flying around, pissing me off. What are some of your favorites about both places? I'm not going to ask you to pick one because that'd be unfair.
No, that's fine. And I would say really it's a toss-up between the 2. I would say I would lean more towards the Yum just because I spent more years there.
Fair.
I spent 3 years at the Yum Center. I got the opportunity to open up the Yum, right? And all 3 of my years I was at the Yum, we sold it out 22,000 plus a night. So you really can't beat that experience, right? I wasn't here when, during the dark days where the gym was half full. But also, too, it's hard to beat Freedom Hall because I closed out Freedom Hall with the win against Syracuse. Yep. And that memory, right, people can ask me about any game at Freedom Hall, at the Yum, and I can't remember them all. But I can remember that one game at Freedom Hall where we beat Syracuse. Kyle had a breakout game. Sosa's getting lifted up on his shoulders in college because that was the only time we've ever had – I was a part of a court storming where your team won.
Right.
I've been a part of court storming where your team lost, but being at Louisville, you don't storm the court because you're expected to win.
Yeah.
So, and as a kid growing up, that's a big college fantasy of having a court storm, you being a part of it, you like cheering with your fans, and that's something that you grow up wanting to do, just kind of like growing up wanting to win a championship or growing up hitting a buzzer beater. Seeing a court storm you want to be a part of that. Now it's dangerous, don't get me wrong, but man, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Kyle making lob dunks, hitting corner threes, Syracuse being ranked number 1. That buzzer going off, Sosa throwing the ball in the air, and then people lifting him up on his shoulders. And Sosa's a big brother to me and, still is. But seeing that and seeing the joy, because we had a pretty bad year that year to some expectation.
Sure.
We still made the tournament, which a lot of teams didn't. But for us and being, Louisville, that was a down year for us. But seeing his joy, seeing my teammates' joy that night really solidified what Louisville was about. I remember, you walk out of this tunnel and you walk out under the covered area, man, it was just filled to the brim. I think every fan after we showered was right there again, because man, it was a sentimental moment of closing out Freedom Hall. Right, this place has such a historic legacy behind all these great players that played here, all these great events, that it was now, moving on to something different. And I think the fans really had a hard time at that moment seeing it go, but what a way to go. And being in the number one team, and that propelled us to become a tournament team, because I mean, we lost in the Big East first round that year against, I believe, like Cincinnati or something, but that was a historic moment in Louisville history.
Absolutely. And there was nothing like when we were kids, when me and Joey were kids and coming to Freedom Hall. And there, I don't know how they got away with not breaking fire code, but you would have 20,000 in the stands and another 20,000 just standing up all around, like it was the Louisville football flight deck. And shout out to our guy Edgar Sosa, the oldest man alive, still playing basketball. He's 57, I think. No, great dude. Shout out to him, and congratulations. I think last year or the year before, he moved to Orlando and started his own moving company with his family. So that's pretty awesome. A couple more little fun facts, and we'll get you out of here. This is a fun fact. I got to play pickup ball. Joe, you did too, at the Kuber Center a lot back in the day because of our connections and our friendships there. I set a bunch of picks. My stats were 2 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 37 picks per game, and 5.5 fouls per game. My question to you is, if you would have had a guy like me on your team all 4 years, do we win 4 straight championships?
Probably, because you'll get Russ and I open a lot on the screens.
Absolutely. And honestly, back then, Sam, I didn't set picks just to like clear people. I set picks to put people on their rear ends. Okay. And I did. There were some people that stopped playing. Now, they weren't
fouled out every game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said 5.5 fouls. Like, I would have been out. Outie 5,000. I don't even know how I got the extra
NBA
half.
Plus, like, they could have gave you 11,000. You'd have fouled out.
I would have. But
so would I.
Peyton, I was there until the wee hours of the morning for Michael Brown's official visit. Is it safe to say I'm responsible for that commitment?
If that's what you think.
That's what helped you sleep.
Okay.
I didn't go to it, so I think that helped get him here.
Probably so.
It's because of me.
I told you we are gonna have some fun on the tail. How's Pops doing, man?
He's doing well, thank you. He's back in Seattle now. For those that don't know, the reason why he hasn't been around is he had a pretty bad stroke a couple years back, and he moved back to Seattle to be taken care of by his family back home. So, it's great. I'm happy for him. He's doing a lot better health wise, but just his speech is slowly getting back there, but health-wise, he's doing a lot better. So
me and your dad both got really sick right around the same time, and I think we talked about it. I was had I stayed a week longer, I think I checked out of Frazier on a Friday, and I checked out on a Tuesday. I remember that crap like it was yesterday, and he checked in like on a Thursday. So we were like a couple days away from being in there together. If they ever put up a Peyton Siva statue, it's got to be a Peyton Siva holding his dad, hugging his dad, because he is just as much of an icon. Your dad was so key to that run in a time when social media was just really getting started.
Yeah.
And one of the first Louisville gifts ever is the fist pump, like iconic. Peyton, thank you so much. Again, tonight, 7 p.m., the Ville takes on Sideline Cancer.
Yep.
And it's going to be a great game. Please support our photographers out there. Again, as I said, Jeff Nunn was taking fire. I sent a couple to Montrez, too. If y'all were on my timeline last night, y'all saw Montrez. There's a classic, I call it the migraine picture, because he's like, man, and I captioned it, these guys really think they're going to beat the Ville at Freedom Hall tonight. He did a really good job. He always does. TJ Barr, our women's basketball photographer. JK, he's our baseball photographer, and Keith Russell kind of does everything. Normally, Nunn shoots. Keith shoots men's basketball, and Nunn shoots football, but he was unavailable for TBT, so Nunn stepped in. For sponsorship opportunities, make sure bottom left-hand corner, reach me at my email. There's a reason we have a plethora of sponsors. It's because they believe in us and we believe in them. We don't just take money from anybody. Like, we have to believe in your product, and we're thankful for all the places that believe in us enough to do this. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer YouTube. You can find the audio version on over 125 podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, and iHeart, to name a few. Hit subscribe, like heart +, or whatever it is right now to get these episodes downloaded directly to your phone, or just watch them live like y'all are today. Again, if each one of y'all buy a ticket to the game today, we're sold out a couple of and that's really good for a morning. If we were doing this in the afternoon, it was probably a lot more, but we don't care about that. We just wanted to chat with Peyton today. He kind of likes it when it's all about him. He don't get that a lot, so that's what we wanted to do today. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com. Podcast, go to the podcast tab, podcast drop down menu, select CSZ podcast for the stuff post our 93.9 run. Pre, it's in the archives. Everything from our 93.9 run, Nick Valvano erased. He's responsible for it. Any gripes, please, at Nicky V ESPN. Spam him all day long. Check out our exclusives on cardinalsportszone.com, the place that all began. Shout out to everybody out there that's sharing the podcast and tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to our guys, Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage, doing the Lord's work Monday through Friday from 10:07 to about 11:55 on ESPN 93.9 The Ville. Joey had a question for Peyton about Steve, but we'll hold that for just a second. Shout out to our guy, Dalton Pence, doing Mondays with DP from 6 to 7 on the Big X. And a couple Shoot 360 guys, Blake. I almost called him Blake Murphy. Blake McCauley and Terrence Jennings with Spilling the Ville. It is a Cardinal Sports Zone podcast network show. They're doing a really good job in the infant stages of the show. Peyton, where can everybody find you on social media? I'm pretty sure everybody already follows you on Earth, but for those that don't.
I think my Twitter is Peyton Siva 3 and PEY SIVA. Well, they're both different, so I don't know which one is which. And then my Instagram is just PEY Siva. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it right.
All right.
Joey, where can they find you on social media?
Joe Wallman 526.
Samuel. Yeah, I called you out.
Baseboy 124.
Can you say it where people can hear you this time?
Baseboy 124.
I am the mumbler. I'm at Jeremy_CSZ, and the website is at Card Sport Zone. On YouTube, follow us at Cardinal Sports Zone 55 because the old Cardinal Sports Zone was taken. Shout out to our guys at the 502 Circle, just absolutely killing it. Dan and Mark, appreciate you guys. Final thoughts. Again, we want to plug the game tonight, 7 p.m., Freedom Hall. Be there. Want to shout out our guy, Nolan Smith, again, getting his opportunity to be a head coach. Love that kid. Really wish things would have worked out better for him here, but I digress. Let's get this W tonight. The question of the day, it was, who are some guys that you would like to see play in the TBT that you didn't get to? Wes Brocky says Francisco Garcia, Larry O'Bannon, Taekwon Dean, and Juan Palacios. They all pretty much played together. Actually, he said Palacios.
Was it Wes Brocky?
Yeah, you already knew. So good stuff. Thank you. Corey says that Pop Siva was amazing. Mike Murphy, what's up, Murph? Says good stuff, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and give mine really quick. I have Smarto. I've got Edgar. I've got Jerry, I raced it like an idiot. I forgot who number 4 was, but number 5, because I wanted to throw a guy that didn't play for Louisville that we all coveted, Romeo Langford. I felt like he would have been a good one that hopefully we see one day. Sam, what about you?
So I'm going to go Darius Perry.
Okay.
Samrado Samuels as well. VJ King. And my 4th one I know is probably never going to happen, but he was my favorite player, Terrence Williams.
Yeah, not going to happen. Joey? What?
Well, I mean, of course, some of the guys are still playing, right? Like,
didn't you say Terry Rozier? That'd be a good one.
Jordan, I know, he was wanting to play, but then obviously
and he's been here the whole practice.
Yeah, but got an opportunity overseas. So I think he's one a lot of us would like to see. Just kind of old schoolish. Now Ryan's not been on one of our team. Ryan McMahon, I'd like to see.
I mean, the first one, wasn't he?
I don't think Ryan was.
I think he was supposed to be on one of the teams.
I don't think Ryan's been on one of the teams. I'd like to see him. And just because I was a big Stephen Van Treese fan. I like me Stephen Van Beast.
Yeah, SVT was here last night. That was pretty fun. Speaking of, that's who the 4th one was. I was texting him during the game last night. DeJuan Wheat. Now, obviously, DeJuan, he's going to, again, another guy that gets his first head coaching opportunity this year. Isn't it Simmons College?
Simmons College.
Yeah. So, and we're going to try to be there for his
Historic
first game. Yeah.
Simmons College.
Historic. Peyton, is there anybody that we didn't mention that maybe you'd like to see play on the TBT? Make your recruiting pitch.
I like to see some people from, KP's era, some of the new guys. Like I saw L. Ellis is still playing. I'd love to see him out there, get out there. Guys that I've been around, like in the summer, Quentin Snyder. I'd love to see him get out there. He looks good, and a couple of these open gyms. But I'd love to see kind of moving forward some of these younger guys who played for Louisville get a chance to come back out there and play. Honestly, if it was up to me, I want everybody to get out there and play. But
absolutely, and it's good that this is the first year. Gorgie. Holy crap!
Gorgie, I don't want him sitting out there. I just got a chance to talk to him in Vegas. He told me his back was hurting just looking at it. So,
well, just from a wish list, like if everybody's
Scott Clark's another good dude that good person, and
Sky's still playing in college.
He's still hooping. Yeah,
we can't.
You forget about that. I forgot about that.
In the days of NIL now, I don't know why they can't play.
That's another guy. Speaking of 5s and 3s, you got Brendan Huntley Hatfield that would have been on the side of the 5. I still think the 3s win that one though. Now, not like back in the prime, like now. So,
we'll see. But I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I got to run.
Thanks for
you're good, man. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you snuck in here somehow.
I did not.
I told you all you got to do is have a logo on.
Yeah.
Brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Guys, man.
All right, we'll close up the show and we'll get out of here before we get caught. Before Peyton tells on us, probably.
Yeah, don't tell anybody we're in here.
Terrence Williams, can I substitute Stephen Enoch?
Yes, you can put Steven. And actually, Enoch was really close to playing the last 2 years. Maybe a little known fact for a reason. I don't know.
Haji.
Haji, you don't know. Haji, absolutely. What was so that was a question. So if any of you all will get that.
I didn't get to ask him my question.
But I set you up for it.
Yeah, and you said we'll ask you.
I was about to. I didn't know he was going to have to leave in the middle of it, but it makes sense.
Well, I'm going to tell my joke anyway.
Okay.
I was going to ask him how Steve got on the sidelines for the game. Like,
you know how he got on the sidelines. Preston knows, absolutely. Preston wanted to play for this team too.
Man, I forgot about Quentin Snyder.
There's so many people, dude. There's so many people.
D'Angelo Russell would be another one.
Just from the city of Louisville itself.
Rajon Rondo.
Talent is
Rondo.
I think if you ask anybody, I think that Rondo, D'Angelo Russell, and Romeo Langford, and Jay Scrubb was on that list for a while for people, but he's on the team this year.
Now, Scrubb and David Johnson played at Trinity together, correctly?
Scrubb, David Johnson, and Ray Spalding.
Or Ray, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Malik's from
Indiana.
Again, 7 p.m. tonight, TBT. We appreciate all y'all tuning in. Good Lord. Dedication to the Louisville product. All of y'all being on here this early in the morning. We appreciate and love you all. This week's episode of the Ringside Podcast and CSZ Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. Not really sure what time or what day. I know it's Wednesday, but we also have an alternate version of that show we can roll out called Tonight's Wrestling Recap. So it's my birthday on Wednesday, so we'll have to see how we I want to make sure I put that in there again, see what we do there. And the next time you tune in to this show on August the 3rd, don't know a time yet because I haven't spoken with him, but we welcome to the studio the GOAT of Louisville media. Well, I'm here every week, but the other GOAT, other than me, it's the one and only Mike Rutherford, a.k.a. Card Chronicle, a.k.a.
SummerSlam.
Ruth. It's August 3rd?
Mm-hmm. 2nd and 3rd, so I was just saying.
Okay. Okay, so it may not be the 3rd. It may be the 10th instead. We'll
throwing that in there.
I appreciate you doing that. Look, for myself, for Peyton Siva, for Joe Wallman, for Sam Baisden, hope you all enjoy the week. Turn that down, it's loud. Hope you guys enjoy the week. L's up. Thanks again for the support. We love you guys. Until the next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast.